Ultra is one of those words that gets thrown around so much now that I don't think it really means what it used to. When I think of Ultra, I think that there's no denying that it's the best, that there's nothing else like it. Does the newest Galaxy Watch Ultra deserve the namesake? Well, let's find out. They say that imitation is the highest form of flattery, and if that's the case, then Apple fans should be feeling pretty flattered right now. If I'm being honest, I don't even really mind. This watch looks incredible. Besides, what better way to get people to switch over than to give them what they're used to, right? My first impressions of using this watch, besides how good it looks, was this thing is chunky. I thought it was going to be a bit bulky on my wrist, but it actually wears quite nice. Ruggedness and extreme adventure is sort of the theme they're going with. It's water resistant to 100 meters and is certified to work at altitudes down to 500 meters below and 9,000 meters above sea level, though I have no ability or ambition to test this. The body is titanium and comes in three different colors. This one is the gray, but there's also silver and white. From what I can tell, they all have this mixture of brushed finish on the main body with polished accents on the bezel. They all look great, but to me the gray looks best with the orange indicators around the dial. The display is still circular like all the other Galaxy watches before it, but they decided to go with this squircle shaped case. I'm assuming to be able to fit the massive battery. Sapphire still protects the 47mm 3000 nit display and can clearly be seen during the brightest of days. I think at this point, these super bright displays are almost becoming more of a gimmick or bragging rights. So far, I have yet to find a need to have this thing on full brightness, maybe for the flashlight. Also, the way the band attaches to the case has changed. Now, rather than the release button being on the band itself, it's on the case. This definitely feels like a more secure way to mount it by completely ditching the pin altogether and going with a latch type connection. This also allows the band to have a tighter fit and look more molded to the case. There are three different styles of bands to choose from. This one is made from silicone and is branded the Marine. There's also one that's made of fabric labeled Trail, and there's a combination of the two called Peak Form. On the side, there is still the same two buttons that all Galaxy watches have had, but on the Ultra, they've added a somewhat mappable quick button. The reason I say somewhat mappable is you are a bit limited to what you can set it to. You can choose between the flashlight, a stopwatch, the water lock, or My Exercises. My Exercises is where you can quickly choose between an almost endless amount of exercises, whether it be walking, pickleball, frisbee, or you can even create your own. But I have had pretty good success with just leaving automatic workout detection on and letting the watch do its thing. Oh, also, when you set up the watch, it asks whether you are left or right handed, and you get to decide which side of the watch you want these buttons on. The battery is pretty massive at 590 milliamp hours and charges at 15 watts, which is a huge step up over the Watch 6. This powers the latest Exynos W1000 processor and dual band GPS. I will say that the overall experience of this watch has been snappier. I'm not sure if any of you have ever used a Galaxy Watch before, but it always had this delay to it. Like from the time you get the notification, from the time it displays, it's always been seconds. Now it's much faster. It's still not immediate, but certainly faster. This might be due to the combination of the new processor or the 2 gigs of RAM or the 32 gigs of storage. But don't let that number fool you though, because it's actually only 21 gigs of usable storage. This is also LTE available, but Bluetooth only is not an option. Like I said earlier, it does recharge at 15 watts, and maybe it's because of the larger battery, but it doesn't seem to charge as fast as my Watch 6. So far, I've been able to get 2 full days on a single charge, but it takes a couple hours to charge from empty to full. One thing that Samsung has decided to remove in order to add the new bioactive sensor is the reverse wireless charging. I can only think of a couple times that I actually used this feature on previous models, but I do remember that it was pretty awesome to have in a pinch. What I found that works best for me is every morning when I shower, I just put the watch on charge and it takes it back to 100%, rather than trying to stretch it out as long as it can go. Doing it this way also allows me to wear it at night for sleep tracking. Since I brought up sleep tracking, this is as good a segue as any to get into the health features. And honestly, I never really used any of this stuff on the previous models. I mean, I would look at it here and there, but I never really took a deep dive. With the Watch Ultra, it did really all kind of change. Now, I'm no doctor and this isn't health advice, but so far, all of these metrics have not just been good, they've been impressive. Actually, being able to see what body temperature I get the best sleep or trying different sleeping positions to see when I get the most oxygen has been incredible. It will literally show you how many times a minute you breathe. Now, this isn't new to the Watch Ultra, but it's just more accurate. It's so accurate that I feel like you can kind of rely on it now. It's always been a thing, but I feel like it's just good now. Now, there's this one feature that they call your sleep score, and it gives you little tips and tricks on how to improve it, right? Well, one of them is don't take any naps. And one day I came home after work and I sort of nodded off on the couch. And later on that night I checked it and it was like, dude, you took a nap between 3:30 and 4:15. And I was like, don't be snitching. A little side note, this is the first time that me and Lauren were able to get the Together feature in Samsung Health to work between the two of us. See, she uses a Galaxy Watch but has a Pixel phone, so she doesn't get all the full features of Samsung Health, and one of those has always been Together. This is where you can compete with others on targets or set goals to achieve, and it's really just gamification, but it truly works at keeping us active. I've even got my mom in on it. Right now, we're racing first to 50,000 steps, and one day she passed me, and I was like, not gonna happen. So I grabbed the dog, grabbed the leash, and we knocked out a mile and took the lead back. The new bioactive sensor still tracks heart rate, ECG, and body composition, but with more accuracy. There's also a new metric called AGES that tracks your diet and lifestyle by getting a sense of your metabolic health and assigning it a value. AGEs, or advanced glycation end products, are compounds that develop naturally in your body when protein and fat molecules are oxidized by sugar, and it accumulates as you get older and can be early signs of chronic disease, diabetes, or even early aging. Right now, AGES is under the Labs tab, which is Samsung's way of saying testing. Again, I'm not a doctor, but this seems like a pretty good metric to maybe keep an eye on. Also new to Samsung Health is your energy score. And this is where it kind of compiles all the data throughout the day, such as heart rate, blood oxygen, and sleep patterns, and then assigns a numerical value 1 through 100. Personally, I noticed that the sleep patterns have been one of the biggest contributors to my energy score. So now that we know how good it is and what it can do, how much is it? Well, let me just say that it's probably not for everyone, coming in at $649. I know it's pretty hefty. But if you have an older Galaxy Watch, they are offering really good trade-in prices at the moment. I was able to get $350 off by trading in my Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. I'm assuming they needed the titanium back. So that brought it down to what a typical watch would cost. I will leave links below if you're looking to pick one up for yourself, and like I said earlier, I've only been using it for a couple of weeks, so I do plan on doing a full review after I've had some more time with it. So subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss it. I'm also putting out a video on the Galaxy Ring as well as the Buds 3 Pro. One thing I do want to touch on real quick is who I think this is for. Honestly, if it wasn't for me having this channel and having a decent trade-in, I don't think I would have purchased it. Don't get me wrong, it's freaking awesome. It's built like a tank with an incredible display and battery, but unless you're just super into physical activities and need the mil spec for toughness, then you might be better off saving a few bucks and just going with the regular Watch 7. They literally both have the same sensor and do the same amount of tracking. The Ultra just has a UI more for fitness. It has military grade toughness, but it also has a hefty price tag. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to hit the like button if you found this at all useful or helpful. And let me know in the comments what you think about Samsung's new approach to their design language. And which one of the new products do you like the most? As always, take care of yourselves. You know you deserve it. I'm Donnie B, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.